Hey guys, it's Vara, and today I wanted to talk to you about a brand new deck that I made. I'm super excited for this one. I've put a lot of thought into this one, and this deck, unlike the last one, because it was a Grixis deck, this one can be made into a budget deck. All you would really have to do for this deck list is take out the Planeswalkers, because the Planeswalkers are over the $10 mark just about. So all you'd have to do is take out the Planeswalkers, and you'd have to replace those. But you can make this a very budget deck. It would be right around $50 to $60, but let's get right into the deck. So this is the Antiquities War deck. Now this deck does focus mainly around the Antiquities War card and the ability that it gives with the base power and toughness of 5/5 until end of turn, but I'm going to go through the deck list. It's mainly artifact based, pumping artifacts up, having them cost less, and honestly, when I saw the Antiquities War become a card, it really gave me this nostalgic feeling, and I really wanted to initially make a deck list for this, but there wasn't a lot out for the deck. But when Core 19 came out, we got a lot of brand new artifact supportive cards, so I knew that this could be made a deck. It might not be the best deck, it might not get off exactly what it needs in the proper timing every single game, but that is a given with most decks, and this is mono blue, so it does have a higher chance. So I'm really excited for this deck, and I hope that you guys enjoy. So because this deck is based around the Antiquities War card and just the Antiquities War lore in a way, because the artifacts, I did put this card, of course, at 4. This is the main combo piece. You do want to get this. This isn't a deck that's going to go off instantly first or second turn. It is going to take a couple of turns to ramp up, but the Antiquities War card is the main focus on it. So it is a saga, which a lot of people didn't like the sagas. The sagas aren't that bad. So the first and second ability is look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And then the third ability is the main one that we want to go for, but the first and second are really good for helping pull into those last minute cards. And it is artifacts you control become an artifact creature with base power and toughness 5/5 until end of turn. And we play a lot of artifacts in this. We play a lot of artifact creatures that bump artifacts up. I think this card is amazing. I think that the artifacts you control that become artifact creatures with base power and toughness of 5/5 until end of turn is really good. I knew this ability could be utilized in a great way, and it is a 3 colorless, 1 blue cost for the card itself, which isn't too high, and we are playing 4 of this. So the next cards we are playing are 4 Ornithopter and 4 Chief of the Foundry. Now, so this is really good because you automatically put a free flyer out, and then when it comes in, it gets the buffs of the +1/+1s, and we have a lot of those in this deck. So I did put it at 4. I guess you could take it out and put in other artifact supportive cards, but this is a really good card in the deck because this is one of the main cards you want to buff up, besides, of course, all the other artifacts you play. So it's just a straight buff up card. And then next we're playing 4 Chief of the Foundry. It is a 3 cost 2/3, and it is simply other artifact creatures you control get +1/+1. This is, of course, one of the many +1/+1 abilities we have in this deck. It is a very good card. It's just overall a very good card for this deck because we're buffing artifacts. I mean, it's obviously a 4 of, it's a lower cost, so I wouldn't change either of these cards around, really. So the next cards we are playing are 4 Psi Master Thopters and 4 Foundry Inspector. Foundry Inspector simply gives artifact spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. This is amazing because we do have higher up artifacts in this. You know, they're right around the 3 mark, but having this at 4, having this on the field, and having it be a 3/2 is just an overall really good card. We do want that artifact spells that cost 1 less to cast. We do want that in this deck, so this is definitely a 4 of. And then we're playing 4 Psi. Now, he is a legendary creature, so you could put him down to 2, and then maybe buff up more Planeswalkers or more different cards. I don't know what you want to buff up. I did like having him at a 4, but keep in mind when playing this, he is a legendary creature, so you can't have more than 1 copy of him out. So he is a 1 blue, 2 colorless. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying, and then he has a 1 colorless, 1 blue, sack 2 artifacts, draw a card. He's pretty good, and he's a 1/4 body. He's pretty good. Just be careful with the legendary creature aspect that he has. That would be my only worry with him at 4. So the next cards that we are playing are 3 Aviation Pioneer and 3 Skilled Animator. These are pretty good cards. They're both commons and uncommons, so they're not bad. Skilled Animator is a pretty damn great card. So Aviation Pioneer is 2 colorless, 1 blue, and it is a 1/2 body. Whenever Aviation Pioneer enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. Pretty basic. We're buffing all of them up, so they'll come out as 2/2s, or whatever you have your buffs up to. And then Skilled Animator is at 3. It is a 2 colorless, 1 blue, 1/3 body. And it is when Skilled Animator enters the battlefield, target artifact you control becomes an artifact creature with base power and toughness of 5/5 for as long as Skilled Animator remains on the field. So this is practically the Antiquities War just in a creature version, and you target an artifact. It's not all artifacts until end of turn. This is a, of course, very good card. You could bump this up to 4 if you felt like it. This just is the Antiquity War just in a creature form. So the next cards are the Planeswalkers. Now, this is where it becomes not budget. The Tezzerets are a little expensive and the cards are still very high. So this is where you could take these out and just switch around them to make this a budget version. These would be the only changes, is practically taking away these 5 cards. But for the sake of non-budget, we are playing 2 Karn Scion of Urza, 2 Artifice Masters, and 1 Cruel Machinist. So Karn, of course, is +1, reveal the top 2 cards of your library. An opponent chooses one of them, put this card into your hand and exile the other with a silver counter on it. Then we have a -1, put a card you own with a silver counter on it from exile into your hand. And then the -2 is create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token. This card gains +1/+1 for each artifact you control. This is great. We're playing a deck based around artifacts. This is very good to have that draw ability to get things to your hand. It's a very good card all around. I put this at 2. If you wanted to, you could take out the other Tezzerets, or you could just play one more Karn, or play with whatever you want. You know, this card definitely could be a 3 of, but I like it more at a 2 of, just so you don't draw it too much, but you have it in there to draw when you need it. 2 Tezzeret Artifice Master, which is a 3 colorless, 2 blue, 5 loyalty, +1 create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. The 0 ability, the first 0 ability, is draw a card. If you control 3 or more artifacts, draw 2 cards instead. And then -9 is you get an emblem with, at the beginning of your end step, search your library for a permanent card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. This is a very good card. I think that you could cut this one down if you didn't want to. The costs of the Tezzerets are very high, but I do like them in general. I think that they're pretty good cards. And then Tezzeret Cruel Machinist is 4 colorless, 2 blue. We are only playing 1 of him because of his high cost. And then his abilities are +1, draw a card, 0 until your next turn. Target artifact you control becomes a 5/5 creature in addition to its other types. And a -7, put any number of cards from your hand onto the battlefield face down. They're 5/5 artifact creatures. I really like him. I think that both of the Tezzerets really good because they do add, of course, those artifact abilities because, you know, Tezzeret and artifacts, that's just how it goes. But all of these Planeswalkers are the numbers that I would play, but of course, play around, see what you like playing with, and yeah. So the next cards we are playing are 3 Key to the City and 4 Prism. So Key to the City is a very good card for this deck. You tap it, discard a card, up to 1 target creature can't be blocked this turn, and whenever it becomes untapped, you may pay 2 if you do draw a card. You get a free card draw. You make it so 1 creature can't be blocked this turn, and if you have pumped a lot of them up, this is going to be really good. I just really like this card at 3. I think 4 is a little too cloggy, but I think 2, I don't draw into it enough, but you could cut this down to 2 if you really wanted to. And then we're playing 4 Prism, and this is just an artifact. Whenever it enters the battlefield, draw a card, and 1, and then tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So it does help with mana, but you mainly want this for extra drawing cards, and these do count towards the Antiquities War when it brings artifacts out as 5/5 creatures, so these do count as bait to those drops of the card. And then next, to end it all up, we're playing 22 Island. 22 is a very good end point for lands. It's kind of simple, you know? So for this deck, I don't really have a sideboard, because mono blue, you could go so many different routes. You could go a drawing route, you could go a counter route, you could go a cycling route and add some more cycling and drawing into this deck. There are a lot of different ways that you could go with the sideboard, so I don't have a set in stone sideboard for this deck currently. But I would recommend going for a counter route, because counters are, of course, really good. They're very strong in the format currently, but I could also see a very viable drawing route too, because this deck could use a little more drawing. So I'm leaving the sideboard open up to you guys because it really depends on your play style. But that is the end of the deck tech for today. I hope you enjoyed the Antiquities War deck as much as I did. I really love this deck. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to give it a like because I post deck techs every single week. I hope that you guys enjoyed this deck as much as me, honestly, and I'll talk to you guys again really soon. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications if you enjoyed and want to watch more of my content. If you want to support me in what I do here on YouTube, ways such as my Patreon are linked in the descriptions of every video I make. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys again really soon.